Hey, it's Chris Beyer.
Chris Bowling, what's happening?
Hey, CB. Well, we are in December. Crazy to think the year is almost over. And we're going to talk a little bit about 2025. A few of the emerging risks that we're seeing that CFOs, HR directors, employers need to be aware of, especially on their medical plans. That we're seeing some emerging risks and some trends that are concerning. I wanted to touch on those today.
Yeah, I think start with the first one, and that is what we experienced here in the Quad Cities was a potential disruption in one of our large health systems, and it was with a certain carrier. And since then, we have ran into multiple uh, issues with providers wanting a very large increase on their PPO reimbursements. I mean, very
Yes,
large, 20-30%. And of course, our carriers are doing the best to not give them that because that's going to
right.
not only have a impact on rates, it's going to have an impact on claims. But yeah, I mean, you and I just ran into one yesterday where we're like, wow, we did not know that that was under renegotiation. And
Yeah.
I think what we've learned is even our carriers are so concerned, they're starting negotiations now for a contract that's not up for 2 years because it's
Yeah.
taking long to get through it.
And we've talked about there's opportunities to not work with a traditional PPO, but so many of our health plans still have that as the backbone.
Sure.
We just don't have it built out advanced enough. But so many of these providers have gone through the last 5 years, COVID, they've gone through escalating wages, inflation of supplies, and they've been reimbursed the same way they were in 2019 or 20.
Right.
They're looking for a way to take that and get paid more. And I think that is concern not only from a price standpoint as a risk for a health plan, but also you start to look at, do these health systems or these providers just say, no, thanks, I'm done with this insurance carrier. I can do it differently. Because we've heard that as well, that I get reimbursed this from one carrier, or get reimbursed this from another, and I'm going to hitch my wagon to the one that is treating me fairly. And I think
Yeah,
that's going to be a reality that we may see in more markets.
very true. Yeah. What's the second one?
Second one, we've touched on in some prior videos, but the continued advancement of life-changing therapies, especially in gene and cell therapy, that are coming on the market big time in a cost standpoint, that I think are going to really impact the cost of health plans moving forward.
Yeah, and I think we're not saying it's the only answer, but our answer to this has been carve them out of the plan. And maybe that's not a popular decision, but it at least gives you the ability to determine what else can you do other than here is a $2 million drug hitting your plan tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's been our suggestion. Again, I'm not saying it's the right one, but it's the one that at least gives our employers some control versus no control.
Right. Right. I know we had one starting on one of our health plans that it was going to be about $1 million drug, new member on the plan, but there was an equivalent therapy that was fractions of that cost, but it wasn't the permanent fix.
Right.
And thankfully that client had it excluded, and that member can now access the traditional therapy. Until those costs come down and there's more known about what actually happens to your genes after you've had that treatment, that's going to be our advice. But that is a big risk, both for our self-funded plans and for fully insured in terms of cost in
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah, I think the third one, which we have hounded on all year, is weight loss drugs. Is that's
Yes.
just blowing up. We are not against weight loss drugs. I am against covering weight loss drugs without a program in place to help that member
Yes.
learn how to live a healthier lifestyle versus taking the jab, you lose 40 pounds, you come off the drug, you gain 60. And the
Yeah.
worst thing that I have preached about with these weight loss drugs without a program is you're losing muscle mass, not just fat.
Yeah.
And muscle is the fuel in your body that you need to burn those calories. Well, now you lose 30
Yeah.
pounds of muscle. And now,
And
of
your
course, it's,
body's inefficient. Yeah.
yeah. So again, weight loss drugs, still a big thing. We're not saying we are against them. We're saying absolutely put a program in place if you're going to cover them.
And we've seen a couple of things here in the fourth quarter alone where, a drug hitting the claims report was $1,000 to $1,200 a month. They're now 800. That's different. But we've also been introduced to a few of those programs that we can get that cost down to $500 a month. And for another 50 each month, that member's going through coaching and
Brilliant.
exercise and nutrition. That's becoming attractive because we do know that the side benefits of reducing food intake, reducing calories, reducing bad habits are going to play out for better health, but not at $1,200 a
No.
month with no true lifestyle change. But
Totally.
certainly still a risk on the plans that are out there, both fully insured and self-funded.
Yeah.
Then our last one that we identified is the stop loss and reinsurance market. This is where we are really evaluating for many of our self-funded clients. Can we work in the captive space to help them be more efficient with their stop loss purchasing? But I think across the board, it's not just our self-funded groups. I think all of the health plans that are out there, fully insured, self-funded, are taking a higher increase because they're paying more to reinsure their risk because of the global effects that we're seeing in the reinsurance market.
Right.
Hurricanes, fires, the bridge in Baltimore. I mean, all of these things are dipping into reinsurance carrier reserves, and they have to pass that cost back to insurance carriers to keep themselves profitable. I think that's going to continue to be a challenge in the pricing model for our plans.
Totally agree. I think, and you started it this way, which is that's where the captive market is becoming a little bit more attractive, and there's all kinds of different captives, but yeah, I think we have found an answer. It's not a lifetime solution, but it is an answer. But yeah, Chris, I don't know of a renewal season that we worked so hard to renegotiate reinsurance rates this year.
Yes.
A lot of data, a lot of analytics, a lot of how can you expect this when we see a loss ratio of this over the last 3 years, and which is why it's the fourth one. It's a emerging risk that's haunting us, and to your point, it's not going to get better.
No, we've seen it in our personal homeowners policies, car insurance policies. We've seen it on our commercial clients renewals. It's starting to trickle into the medical stop loss world for that exact reason, that all of those large reinsurance companies in some way are sharing that risk of things that aren't related to medical plans.
Yeah, we have enough problems in medical inflation. We don't need any more.
We don't need any more. Just keep that over there. That's totally fine. Well, thanks for working through those, CB. It'll be interesting to see how these play out in 25.
Enjoy your day.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.